Shu wachea, Tanya Talaga nagisnakas, kalmusko primujije pineshish nagisnakas. Je suis autochtone. My premier nation is Fort William First Nation. I am delighted to be here on the lands of my brothers and my sisters. It really fills me with joy to see all of you here tonight and to listen to us and our 5 minutes of utopia, our 5 minutes of dream. That was a hard one, I have to say. It's always harder, too, to write shorter, as I'm sure everyone in the first row will tell you. To think smaller, to think larger. That's a hard thing. So, qu'est-ce que c'est, utopia? What is it? My idea of utopia looks backwards and it looks forwards. My idea of utopia is circular. I see things in circles. When I write, when I think of the past, I think of the future, I think of the now. It's like the beat of a drum. It's like the sound of a heart. I hear utopia in the steadiness of every breath. I could tell you that my utopia is about what life was like before the settlers came, before the boats arrived in Haiti, before Christopher Columbus brought his enslavement, his torture, before he brought over his killings, his diseases. You know, before there were tens of millions of people living here on Turtle Island. We were living here in villages of our own. We lived in wigwams and longhouses and teepees. We moved with the land, with the water, with the rivers. When the earth told us it was tired, we moved. I could tell you that my utopia was a time of then. I could tell you that my utopia was in the year 800 to the year 1200, where we had one of the, believe it or not, largest cities here on Turtle Island. It rivaled the size of London at the time, Cahokia. It is now where modern-day St. Louis is. We had upwards to 20,000 people living there. We lived by our own laws, our own rules, our own structures of our own societies. We loved, we lived on this land. I could tell you that my utopia was before Samuel du Champlain arrived, before the killing of the buffalo all over Turtle Island, before the policies of Andrew Jackson, the former US president, before our people died en masse. I could tell you that my utopia is this land before the Indian Act was passed in 1876. The Indian Act is still on our books here in Canada. I am a status Indian. I live under the Indian Act. I have a 10-digit number with my name. I could tell you that my utopia would be before Indian residential schools took our children away, took over 150,000 of our kids and put them in state-funded Christian church-run schools. More than 140 of these schools, these residential schools, from coast to coast to coast. I could tell you that my utopia was a time before my mother's family felt the crushing effects of colonization, before we felt the heel of the boot of assimilation, the schools, the 60s scoop, the long reach of the Indian Act. But, you know, utopia, it's a hard thing. I don't think that all of us have the luxury to think of what a utopia is. Those of us who've lived genocide in Canada, those of us who still experience it, are people that have no justice, that fill the jails, that can't get to a high school in their own community because there isn't one, or drink clean water in our communities because we don't have any. You know, I do dream. I do dream. And I dream of a better place. I dream of a country where we have equity, where my children, my family, my friends can live in a world and in a country that treats them just like everyone else, where the othering stops, where we are all given that same chance in life, no matter the color of your skin or where you are from, that our children get an equal chance at education, that we have high schools in our communities, that we have justice for our murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls and our families that are still looking, that are still asking for police help, for community help, for media to take a notice, for anyone to notice what is happening, continuing to happen to our people. My dreams are basic human rights for our people. And that is a realistic vision. That dream can become a reality. That is a utopia that Canada can grasp, but one it still struggles to think about and deal with, even though it's right in front of them. It's not that hard if we all work together to make it so. I dream of a Canada where we're all living, thinking about the 7 grandfather teachings. The Anishinaabe believe, I am Anishinaabe, that these 7 teachings, these 7 words, can lead to a good life. It can lead to Mino Bimidizawin, living life in a good way. These words are simple, and I want you to listen to them and to take them home with you, because I believe that you don't have to just be Anishinaabe to live by these 7 teachings. You can be French, you can be English, you can be from anywhere. But imagine, my dream is simple, if the world lived their life by these 7 teachings. And those are love. To know love is to know peace. Wisdom. Living your life in a good way leads to wisdom. Bravery. Bravery is in each and every single one of us. We are all members of a community. We need to be brave and to treat each other with the dignity and the respect that we all deserve. Humility. To know yourself, to know your place in community is to be humble. To work for everyone in community, that leads to a good life. Respect. Respect your neighbors. Respect those that are living here with us. Tolerance. Think of tolerance, think of respect. To know all of these teachings is to know the truth. And I leave you with those here tonight. That's my dream for Canada, and it's my dream for you. Miigwech.